Whenever you were playing a long time, very successful, there's a lot of statues standing in that pocket. Okay, a lot of statues.
Yeah.
The game is changing. If you look at that Niners team, the defense led them for most of the year last year. Yesterday, they had problems with Kyler Murray. I mean, absolute problems with Kyler Murray. Then you look at what the Patriots did with the Dolphins, and you look what Lamar Jackson was able to do. And Patrick Mahomes can extend plays. It feels like the game is changing right in front of our eyes, and NFL defenses are going to have to figure it the fuck out very, very quickly because Kyler Murray was a problem yesterday for that 49ers defense, which has been heralded as maybe the greatest defense since the 85 Bears coming out of this whole thing.
Yeah, but then you see what Kyler Murray can do in this type of offense where it's so spread out, where he has a legit number one wide receiver.
Oh, yeah.
With all due respect to Larry Fitzgerald, but Larry's older now. D-Hop is a boss, and the fact that you can implement him into this offense, you see the benefits of it immediately, which just shows us more and more of like what in the world is Houston doing. But we're not even going to switch subjects like that. Let's stay focused here. And I love the Cardinals going forward. I think this is just going to give them so much confidence because this is a game they weren't supposed to win. You bring great players around Kyler Murray, and you say, hey, this guy can execute. You just give him the ball, he's going to make things happen. And I listened to what Mike Vick said about him last year that, hey, he's going to figure out a way to where, hey, I don't have to just run the ball here because it's designed to run. I don't have to just hold on to the ball to try and show that, hey, I can throw the ball to be a thrower. But effectively using the timing of when in which you use your legs to break the pocket, which is going to make people start to come up against the run. And now you'll be able to get more guys open down the field. And that is how you're going to figure out that balance of when he's going to be able to do it and using his athleticism. He's going to be a real threat because of his elite speed when he's on the field.
He has a hose, too. There was a couple where he just went like this, and that ball was flat. Yes. I mean, an absolute hose. And yesterday, saw him slide in the pocket a couple of times whenever he was about to get killed. Now, there's always the awkward Peyton Manning fall and the Eli Manning fall and the Tom Brady fall. And Kyler Murray yesterday was sliding like in the pocket even, not even outside. Like, all right, I can't get killed. I understand that. But Kyler Murray has to see what Lamar Jackson has done and Patrick Mahomes has been able to do and think to himself, that could be me. But in the Cardinals, on the defensive side of the ball, they paid Budda Baker, and a lot of people are very confused by it. Like, why'd you pay? Budda Baker is a game changer. And then you got Chandler Jones over there. Just like what you said, you're a believer in the Cardinals. Me too. Like, I think the world is becoming a believer in the Cardinals because they're completely well-rounded. Zane Gonzalez not going to have a job for a long time kicking, but they seem to be very well-rounded over there. They seem to be a full team.
Hey, look, I like the Cardinals. It's a really tough division. I'm still going to take Seattle to win the West because of Russell Wilson and just his ability to just will his team over and over. I don't know how. He has continued to rise his game. He throws the best deep ball in the NFL, in my opinion. And I still like Seattle. But Arizona is a team on the rise. It's still going to come down to, can this coach get them going? All right. I still don't know about I trust the coach as much. It is week one. It is the biggest overreaction week, like you just said.
Oh, yeah.
And now all these teams are in a race to improve, to get better by week 2, week 3, week 4. You got to get out of this first quarter at least above 500 to give yourself a chance mentally as a team. Hey, we need to get it going. And I think that was a swift kick in the butt yesterday. The 49ers, a little bit of Super Bowl hangover. We've all been there. If you've actually been to a Super Bowl, you know what it's like. So it's just going to happen. And but I do like Arizona going forward. Can we not give all these kickers a break all the time? I saw a lot of bad kicking games yesterday, over the weekend, from college to the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
Texas State's kicker, I mean, I wouldn't even let him on the bus with me.
Hey!
I don't know.
Whoa! That was bad. It was a bad performance. I mean, that is a tough. And by the way, Randy Bullock with the Bengals, your number 1 overall pick. He has a game-winning drive at home, first game, like just did walk down, and then that happens. That is a tough go. But hey, first week, got to get the jitters out. Hey, got to get the jitters out. We'll be back next week better than ever. But guys got to start making kicks. Right now. I am sick of it. What do you have, Connor?
Roman, you just mentioned the Seahawks. How big is it for them to get a guy like Jamal Adams in there, and how does he change a defense?
So I think he changed the difference because the defenses are going now to what you see in basketball, a lot more positionless football on defense. So now we want to have more guys that are just athletic, that have big enough size to where I can put them in the box, and I'm not scared for them. If a guard pulls, they'll be able to fit in the run right. They're smart because they can play. I was always taught the further away from the ball you are, the smarter you have to be. So DBs were extremely smart.
Of course.
So he's smart enough to figure out the run game fits. He's also can play in the pass game. He can play man-to-man. He can blitz. So now we're able to put him all over the field, and you don't really know what we're doing or what we're bringing. And it's not just like we have got a lot of big guys out there. So more positionless football defensively when we're drawing up schemes. We just want a whole bunch of safeties and DBs and like smaller linebackers that can just run. And then you can put them all over the place, and now we can maybe drop them in the middle of the field. We can also blitz them from a hash. You can do a lot of different things like that. I think that's what Jamal Adams really is. He almost reminds me, and I don't want to toot my own horn, but he reminds me a lot of myself.
Oh,
play him all over the place. He can play some man-to-man coverage on tight ends and wide receivers in the slot. You can blitz him off the edge. He can do a lot of things, and he's also very viable in the run game. I'm just saying, he kind of reminds me of myself.
That's what I thought whenever I watched him was, Roman Harper, this guy, very similar. The defense, though, the defense having to keep up with the offense, though. That's why, like, Isaiah Simmons was such a big deal coming out of Clemson because that guy can move. What is he, a DN? No. Is he a linebacker? Is he a safety? He's everything. And what you just said there about positionless defense is very interesting because the Patriots were going to pay Aqib Talib, I guess, like $6 million just to guard their tight end. And I thought to myself, well, that means if the Patriots are doing copycat league, everybody else will be doing the exact same thing. But you see it going in a different direction where it's like, hey, we just got 11 athletes out here. Our best athletes are either going to be rushing the passer or guarding the wide receivers, and everybody else just kind of fill in there. Because if you look at the linebackers, they've all gotten smaller, they've all gotten faster, and they're all trying to keep up with the offenses that are led by Kyler Murray, Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, and others. Joey Burrow, by the way, can scoot people forget about.
Yeah, you can.
That's the future of defenses, you think, huh, in the NFL?
I think the more you see offenses starting to open it up and go to a college-looking scheme, you got to be able to keep up. So you're going to have to continue to recruit and get bigger guys that can run and play in space. They have to be comfortable. You're not going to see the big Mike linebacker that's a thumper on second and third down because most teams are playing more spread out, more 3 wide receiver personnel. They're not playing as much, fullbacks, things like that. So you have to try and adjust and stay ahead of the times. And then it also allows you, hey, when people get up in motion, all right, how are we going to handle that? Because now if my guy just goes over there with him, you automatically tell yourself that we're playing man-to-man coverage. So allowing it to be able to, when he motions, to let it eat on defense, that, hey, we're just going to communicate across the board what's going on, but we all feel comfortable in playing against these guys or covering against these guys in space. That is where it's going. And so it's more positionless, where you see now in basketball, guys can guard from the 1 to the 5 or from the 4 all the way down to the 1, just because it allows us all to play more. We can create more space, and that's what everybody's going to. I think that is where it's going. A little caveat. I taught you something today. I always feel good, Pat, that I can come on your show and teach you a little something.
Yeah, but while you were talking about that, I was like, well, what teams are going to benefit from a defense that's getting smaller? And I just can't help but think about the team that had 7 offensive linemen on the field, 2 tight ends, and a fullback with a 260-pound quarterback that was running powers all over everybody. That seems like the Patriots are about to just take advantage of. That is a nightmare. That's all I could think about. Like Lamar Jackson, obviously, that they have 3 tight end sets and everything like that, so they'll take advantage of that. But with the Patriots, they had like maybe 7 tons of human on the field at one point, and they're all just running at like 2 people. They'll take advantage of it, and that's why football's cyclical. It'll all come back around to the run game at some point.
Yes, it will. And you look at, and also when you're counting in the run game against quarterbacks, we never count quarterbacks in the run game because it's 10 on 10, and then you always got a safety that's deep that accounts for the 11th man in the run game. So it really makes it tough. That's why those plays are so designed so well and set up for Cam yesterday. When he would go around the edges, they create a short edge, put everybody away from him, and then run around the end because nobody accounts for the quarterback in the run game. We just don't do that defensively. So I know a lot of teams will try and schematically try and change that as they play the Patriots. But the question mark still remains for the Patriots. I love what Cam did, but my boy Rob Ninkovich told me, who is he throwing the ball to?
Great
that
question.
would be the question mark for the Patriots going forward. Who's he going to throw the ball?
Who's he throwing it to, Connor? Who's he throwing the ball to?
Who's he throwing to in Carolina?
Steve Smith.
Yeah, but I mean, at least they gave him the run.
Super Bowl.
They had Greg Olsen.
Ever heard of him?
Some guys.
Good.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, look, you got Julian Edelman, who's 34 years old, who's on one knee. So that's your number one guy. I know it's good for a whole bunch of slant routes and things like that, but if you ever get down, we got to have somebody to take it over the top. We need somebody to be able to open this thing up. And not only that, but our defense in Carolina was pretty freaking good in 2015. I'm just saying.